It's midnight and you're tuning in to Nightline with me, Raymond. The top stories. Dutch court rules Sulu heirs cannot seize Malaysian assets. And court annuls Kuala Terengganu MP's victory in GE15. Good morning. The Hague Court of Appeal in the Netherlands has dismissed a bid by a group of 8 individuals claiming to be the heirs of the defunct Sulu Sultanate for the enforcement of a purported arbitral award of nearly $15 billion issued against the Malaysian government in February last year. This was following submissions from the government and the Sulu claimants during the court proceedings held on April 17th. A judgment released on the court website on Tuesday showed that Dutch judges had rejected the requests of the Filipino nationals. The court also ordered the claimants to pay legal costs to Malaysia. Last year, the self-proclaimed heirs to the last sultan of the remote Philippine region of Sulu were awarded $14.9 billion by a Paris arbitration court in a long-running dispute with Malaysia over a colonial-era land deal. They have since sought to seize Malaysian government assets in France, Luxembourg and the Netherlands in a bid to enforce the award. Malaysia, which did not participate in the arbitration, maintains the process is illegal and has vowed to fight the seizures. It obtained a stay on the award in France, but the ruling remains enforceable overseas under a UN treaty on arbitration. In September, the group had sought permission from a Dutch court to enforce the award in the Netherlands. However, Dutch judges sided with Malaysia and said that the original agreement did not have a clause that bound parties to arbitration, and the French stay of the award meant the claim was not enforceable in the Netherlands. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said Malaysia is getting closer to completely nullifying the sham and abusive final award to the self-proclaimed Sulu heirs. Describing the Hague Court of Appeal's ruling as a landmark victory, he said the decision would block any attempt by the claimants to enforce their illegitimate claims against the Malaysian government in the Netherlands.
Harapnya dapat menamatkan suatu episod yang tidak baik kerana tindakan yang nak mencabar kedaulatan Malaysia. Mereka gagal, kita syukur alhamdulillah. Terima kasih.
Dr. Sri Anwar said this to the media before he departed for home after a 2-day official visit to Laos on Tuesday. In a statement later, the Prime Minister added that the Malaysian government is confident that the Dutch court's ruling, combined with the recent decision of the Paris Court of Appeal, will put an end to the frivolous attempts of the claimants to enforce the purported final award in other jurisdictions. He also stressed that Malaysia has stopped at nothing in order to protect its sovereignty, national security and national interests. The government will also fight by any means necessary against this flagrant exploitation and abuse of the international arbitral system, as well as take all necessary actions to recover the costs for the public resources that Malaysia has been forced to expend in dealing with these claims. Earlier, during a gathering with the Malaysian diaspora in Laos at the Malaysian embassy in Vientiane, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has given an assurance that his administration will not compromise on issues of governance and corruption. He said it is a commitment of the unity government to start a new culture which is free of power abuse and corruption.
My commitment with my colleagues is to start a new culture in this country. You can be Prime Minister, you can be Menteri Kewangan, you can be Minister. You cannot use it to enrich yourself and your family. We have to put a stop to this.
He also said his government would extend its cooperation, including facilitating processes to attract more foreign investments into the country, as well as in opposition-held states. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Anwar also invited Laos to tap into Malaysia's halal expertise if it wishes to enter a larger market of Muslim consumers. Speaking in a joint press conference with his Laotian counterpart, Dr. Sonsai Sipandon, at the Laos Prime Minister's office, Dr. Sri Anwar said by venturing into the halal industries, especially halal food, Laos could be able to expand its export business to Muslim countries and the Middle East. The Terengganu Election Court on Tuesday annulled the victory of Kuala Terengganu Member of Parliament, Dato' Ahmad Amzad Hashim, who represented PAS in the 15th general election GE15. This after the court ruled that the petitioner Barisan Nasional candidate, Dato' Muhammad Zubir Embong, succeeded in proving that corruption had taken place with the aim of influencing voters in the polls. Judge Dato' Sri Muhammad Firuz Jafril, in making the decision, said although the petitioner was not presented as a witness, other evidence was sufficient to declare the election in Kuala Terengganu null and void, according to Section 36 of the Election Offences Act. The court also ordered the respondent to pay 50,000 ringgit to the petitioner and allowed the respondent to file an appeal within 14 days. In GE15, Dato' Ahmad Amzad won the Kuala Terengganu parliamentary seat with a majority of 40,907 votes, defeating 3 other challengers. Terengganu UMNO then filed a petition on January 3rd to annul the GE15 result, alleging that PAS had bribed voters by distributing financial aid from the state government between November 15th and 17th last year, just a few days before the polls took place. Following the ruling, Dato' Ahmad Amzad's counsel, Wan Rohimi Wan Daud, said they will file a notice of appeal to the federal court soon after Aidil Adha. Meanwhile, in a separate election court, Terengganu UMNO has lost in its bid to remove past President Tan Sri Abdul Hadi Awang from his Marang parliamentary seat. This after High Court Judge Dato' Hassan Abdul Ghani, who was sitting as an election court judge, dismissed the election petition filed by BN candidate Jasmira Othman to challenge Tan Sri Abdul Hadi's victory. The court ruled that Jasmina had failed to raise any reasonable doubts in the case and ordered the petitioner to pay Tan Sri Abdul Hadi 50,000 ringgit in costs.
Hukuman penjara 12 tahun terhadap pengasas rumah bonda.
Mami tolong tengok Bella.
Allah.
Setiap hari memang Bella diberi makan cili.
Seorang lelaki didakwa di Mahkamah Majistret atas tuduhan membunuh teman wanitanya yang hamil 4 bulan.
Dia dah bunuh, lepas tu dia bakar. Kau boleh bela anak kau ke dibuat macam tu?
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, is currently investigating a number of politicians over allegations of political patronage in illegal gambling. Its Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki, however, declined to provide specific details on the exact number of politicians under investigation, nor their political affiliations.
Ahli politik ni ada ramai ke atau?
Adalah di beberapa kalangan mereka, ya, tak boleh kata ramai atau tidak, nanti akan jadi satu spin-off daripada banyak pihak pula. Okey.
Di sebelah kerajaan ke di sebelah pemangkin?
Itu pun saya tak boleh katalah. Kalau ahli politik, ahli politik lah.
Tan Sri Azam said this when met by the media after attending the World Trade Center Kuala Lumpur 2023 Integrity Day. On June 15th, Home Minister Dato' Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail told the Dewan Rakyat that political patronage had undermined the political will and determination to effectively tackle illegal gambling in the country. He said the political patronage provided influence and protection for corruption and bribery within the gambling sector, leading to deferred action. In another development, the MACC said it has yet to open an investigation paper on the awarding of a fibre optic contract to a company linked to a former Prime Minister. According to Tan Sri Azam, the anti-graft body needed time to examine the matter as it was an old case that allegedly took place 20 years ago.
Kita belum buka lagi secara terbuka, tetapi saya mengesahkan kita sedang meneliti maklumat-maklumat yang diperolehi untuk dikaji dan saya akan maklumkan dalam tempoh terdekatlah. Ya, bagi saya masa sikit.
Tan Sri Azam added that transparency is crucial for the MACC in its investigations. Earlier this month, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, in his defence statement against Tun Dr. Mahathir's 150 million ringgit defamation suit, cited several decisions by the latter and that these decisions provided grounds for dismissing the suit against him. Datuk Sri Anwar claimed that Telekom Malaysia Berhad issued a letter to request permission to hold direct negotiations with Opcom for the supply of fibre optic cables worth 214.2 million ringgit. The letter was issued to the Finance Ministry on September 15, 2003, when Tun Dr. Mahathir was Prime Minister and Finance Minister, and his third son, Datuk Sri Mukris Mahathir, was the Director of Opcom. More than 400,000 foreign workers have been brought into Malaysia through the recalibration program, and about 100,000 more foreign workers are still needed to fill jobs in 5 critical sectors, namely construction, manufacturing, services, plantations and agriculture. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said this was a result of policies made by the government on January 17th this year under the Foreign Workers Employment Relaxation Plan and the Workforce Recalibration Program 2.0.
Kita tengok balik daripada jumlah kota yang telah diluluskan dan daripada rekalibrasi yang telah mendaftar, kita yakin kita boleh memenuhi keperluan tenaga ini walaupun tak capai sasaran suku pertama, dia mungkin akan berlaku pada suku kedua.
Speaking to the media after chairing the committee meeting on the management of foreign workers, he added that the deficit of 100,000 foreign workers was due to several factors, including employers' financial capability and the bureaucracy of the source country providing the workers. Datuk Sri Saifuddin also said that the Home Ministry had taken note of the 1,120 foreign workers brought into the country from January to May who did not have jobs. He said the ministry had taken immediate steps to track down the agents who brought in the workers in question and also blacklisted the employers involved, adding that the ministry is facilitating these foreign workers in finding new employers and job opportunities. Plus, Malaysia Berhad will activate its smart lane at 5 critical locations along its expressways to help alleviate traffic congestion expected during the upcoming Aidil-Adha celebration. According to its operations Senior General Manager, Muhammad Yusof Abdulaziz, highway users will be allowed to temporarily enter and drive on the emergency lane at the smart lane locations before being directed back to the main lanes to continue their journey. According to Yusof, users, however, are strictly prohibited from driving on the emergency lanes at other locations where the smart lane is not activated. He added PLAS is also proactively making other preparations to manage the surge in traffic through various approaches to ensure that highway users can enjoy safer and smoother journeys during the festive season. PLAS also advised highway users to ensure that they use the same payment mode when entering and exiting the highway to avoid inconvenience at the toll plazas. Meanwhile, concessionaire Ane Berhad expects around 1.5 million vehicles to use the Kuala Lumpur-Karak Expressway, KLK, and East Coast Expressway Phase 1 or LPT-1 during the festive season. When Nightline returns, Thai PM frontrunner confident on Senate support. Stay with us. with news from the foreign front. Thailand's leading prime ministerial candidate, Pita Limjaroenrat, said on Tuesday that he has enough support in the upper house to become the country's next premier, just days ahead of the new parliament's first session. So far, Pita's 8-party alliance together has 312 seats in parliament. However, under the constitution, to become prime minister, Pita needs at least 376 votes in a joint sitting of the bicameral legislature, including the 250-member upper house, most of whom were chosen by the military when it took power in 2014. Doubts have also lingered over whether Pita has enough support due to his party's controversial proposal to amend Thailand's strict royal insult law, or lèse majesté. Pita, the leader of the progressive Move Forward party, scored a stunning victory in a May poll that saw Thais reject nearly 9 years of military-backed government. Over in Australia, a man had been shot dead in Sydney's eastern Bondi district on Tuesday in what police described as a hit on a major player in the city's crime underworld. It was reported that a 48-year-old man with an extensive criminal history had been shot at 8:30 a.m. local time in his vehicle. Police believe it was a targeted shooting of a high-level organized crime identity, as the victim was said to be well known to police and also had a big target on his back. The man has not been identified by authorities, but local media reported the victim as the convicted drug kingpin, Alan Moradian, a figure in the illegal cocaine trade. A jet linked to Russian mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin arrived in Belarus from Russia on Tuesday, believed to be carrying him to exile 3 days after he led an aborted mutiny against the Russian military. Several media reports mentioned that a flight tracking website showed that the Wagner chief's plane flying out of Rostov and landing near Minsk. Prigozhin's departure came as the Russian Defense Ministry was preparing to take over military hardware belonging to the Wagner mercenary group to Moscow's regular army. Earlier, Russian President Vladimir Putin had accused Ukraine and its Western allies of wanting Russians to kill each other. He also stressed that the Wagner mercenaries failed to win the support of the Russian people or its army. In Pakistan, the death toll from rain-related incidents has risen to 23 on Monday after wounded succumbed to their injuries during the last 24 hours as the country witnessed the start of a pre-monsoon spell. According to officials, all the reported deaths occurred due to 3 different reasons, namely electrocution, drowning and lightning. Following this, authorities have asked people to stay away from electric installations and poles and at the same time avoid unnecessary travel during the rainy season. Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, in the meantime, has directed the provincial government and district administration to take immediate steps for draining the standing water in the urban areas of different districts. Wolf and Kekmanovic cruise into second round in Eastbourne. Sports when we come back. tennis, the 2023 Eastbourne International. Jeffrey Wolf joined Miomir Kekmanovic in the second round as he defeated Argentina's Thomas Echeverry in straight sets. Wolf sent the six-seeded Argentine packing for home as he claimed a 6-2, 6-4 win in their first-round clash. The unseeded American will be up against France's Luca Van Asch in the next round. Meanwhile, 8th-seeded Kekmanovic of Serbia also eased into the second round after defeating China's Wu Yibing 7-6, 7-6. Waiting for him is Australia's Alexander Vukic. Still on tennis, the 2023 Majorca Championships, Jordan Thompson booked his spot in the second round after defeating Frenchman Richard Gasquet in straight sets. The unseeded Australian bagged a 6-3, 6-4 victory over Gasquet in a match that lasted for 1 hour, 32 minutes. Thompson, ranked number 71, will play the winner of the match between Spanish wildcard Feliciano Lopez and Australian Max Purcell next. Police smash drug trafficking syndicate. The details after this short break. Continues. In Pulau Pinang, police have busted a drug trafficking syndicate involved in processing and distributing ecstasy packaged as lollipops following the arrests of 2 suspects at separate locations last week. Northeast District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Sofian Santong said various types of drugs worth about 28,000 ringgit were also seized during the operation. The first suspect, a 22-year-old man, was detained on June 23rd at a roadside in Georgetown with 10 plastic packets of powder, believed to be a mixture of ecstasy weighing 108 grams. Subsequently, police raided a condominium in Bukit Mertajam on the same day and arrested a 28-year-old man and seized various types of drugs, including ecstasy powder, ketamine, ecstasy pills, and Aramin 5 pills. Police also seized a car, a gold bar, and jewelry, altogether worth 36,700 ringgit. The syndicate was believed to have been active since January this year and was distributing the drugs at entertainment outlets and private parties held in the state. Both suspects have been remanded until June 30th to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. A former ship mechanic was charged at the Johor Bahru Sessions Court on Tuesday with 3 counts of raping, producing pornographic video, and sexually assaulting his niece 5 years ago. The 41-year-old man claimed trial after the charges were read out against him before Judge V.M. Mabel Sheila, who fixed July 24th for mention of the case. The father of 3 boys was charged with committing the offences when the girl was 7 years old at a house in Jalan Rawa, Taman Perling on August 1st, 2018. He was also slapped with another count for possessing various child pornography videos and images on May 24th this year. The charges under the Penal Code and the Sexual Offences Against Children Act provides a maximum prison sentence of 30 years and whipping upon conviction. The court allowed the accused bail of 8,000 ringgit and ordered him not to disturb the victim and witnesses. In Kedah, 4 in a family, including a baby girl, were killed in a tragic accident involving a car and a trailer truck at Jalan Kulim Baling near Padang Meha, Kulim on Tuesday. The deceased comprised a 32-year-old man, who is also the car driver, his 30-year-old wife, the couple's 8-month-old baby, and a 59-year-old woman. State Fire and Rescue Department Public Relations Officer Abdurrahim Che Omar said a rescue team was deployed to the scene after receiving a call at 4:06 p.m. Upon arrival, the team found the victims were all trapped in the mangled car. The rescuers then extricated the victims, including 2 other children, aged 2 and 6, who suffered serious injuries. The injured victims were then rushed to the Kulim hospital for treatment, while the bodies of the 4 deceased were handed over to the police for further action. In Pahang, a trailer driver was killed while his wife and son were injured after the vehicle skidded and plunged into a ravine at the Kuala Lumpur-Karak Expressway early on Tuesday morning. Bentong District Police Chief Superintendent Zaiham Muhammad Kahar said they were alerted about the accident at around 4 a.m. The 33-year-old victim, Muhammad Hasrul Abdul Halim, was pronounced dead at the scene due to severe head injuries after being pinned in the front part of the trailer, while his 41-year-old wife and their 5-year-old son were sent to the Bentong hospital for treatment. Initial investigations revealed that the sand-laden trailer was heading to Terengganu from Perak. The accident was believed to have occurred when the trailer suddenly went out of control before crashing through the highway barrier and falling into the ravine. The cause of the crash is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. And that concludes Nightline this time around. As we wrap up, let's take a look as Muslim pilgrims gather around Mount Arafat to mark Hajj's Arafah Day, the most important day of the Hajj pilgrimage. With that, I'm Raymond Go. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.